The day of the house fire was June 27, 2008. I had just turned 18 about 5 months ago.
I remember I didn't get a lot of sleep the night before, and I was tired going to work. 8 hours later, I just wanted to get home and relax. I think it was that day I was coming home early.
I was homeschooling Dominic. It was the last day I had to get stuff, the grades had to be in. Jesse had an interview, and I was talking to Jess on the phone. And I had to leave. We had to leave to get to the bank to get our errands taken care of for Friday. So we had to be at the bank before 5. We left here at 20 to 5.
I was with Mom and we were getting groceries and getting a pizza. I was in the pizza place when she got the call.
I had an interview that day, so I was out. I had a drug test, so I had things that I had going on.
I didn't see any smoke before driving in my driveway. As soon as I made the turn around the garage, I noticed that there was smoke billowing out of the window, right on the side of the house, the octagon window. I stopped abruptly and I got out of my car, and the first thing I did was call my mom. I was a little short with her because there was a lot to process, but I think I remember saying, what did you leave on in the house? Like, I'm just trying to figure out what was going on, what's up in the house.
I got a phone call from Jeremiah. I, as a matter of fact, pulled up for the pizza. He asked me, what did you do? I said, what do you mean what I do? Why are you talking to me like that? And he was trying to convince me that the fire is. And I literally told him the worst thing I probably could have ever told anybody was to go in. Go in, it's nothing. It's probably just smoke or something. Until it registers that it's what he's saying is actual. And then I just raced home.
Went through the porch area, which had a door, and then I opened up the back door of the house, and just face full of smoke just billowed right out into my face. It was way too much. I couldn't see into the house. It was thick. I'd never called 911 intentionally before. They told me that they had gotten a couple of calls prior to me calling, so I'm guessing neighbors and whatnot were calling them already. I'm pretty sure that the explosion that happened, like, as soon as I opened the door, it caused a backdraft, which I was caught up in the moment, and I don't really remember hearing an explosion, but it would make sense. It was pretty quick, like in less than 5 minutes. The fire department was here.
I didn't think, it's like, well, it can't be that bad if we're not in a massive rush. Started freaking out when I started seeing smoke and all that coming out of the house.
Fire companies, lots of people out on the road, parked. Lots of cars, vehicles. And I raced over the top of the hoses that were in my driveway, came around, jumped out there. Everybody's yelling, don't go, and I'm still going, still not registering, don't open the door, which is, we're not supposed to do that. Sometimes when we're in crisis, we don't do what we're supposed to do. And that's really when we ought to make certain we're doing. I was assessing everything, everyone, everything.
I remember that you were, like, after Mom got there and everything. I think I called you a couple of times, if I recall. I kind of blew up your phone a bit.
I got the phone call and my brother said that the house is on fire. I was about 7 miles from home when I got the phone call, so it didn't take me long to get there. I was driving about 110 miles an hour, weaving in and out of traffic. I went through stop signs. When I pulled up, there was just neighbors on neighbors on neighbors here, and they were all just gawking. They told me to slow down, and I jumped out and ignored all of them like this was my house.
I seen people outside. I didn't actually recognize any of them. I seen a lot of gawkers. Like, people stopped their cars and pulled off to the side of the road and were, like, watching, which I felt some type of way about that.
And I got there and I could see smoke coming out of the side window and the downstairs window, and there was ambulances. There was more than one ambulance and a lot of people, and firefighters were going in and out of the house, and they were shooting water everywhere. And I remember my mom, she was standing in the front yard and she was screaming, my house, and she was so upset.
She was freaking out. Like, she she wasn't handling the situation, and it was a lot to deal with.
Where they thought I had to go over and the school nurse or the school nurse's assistant, whoever she was taking blood pressure and trying to take my blood pressure.
Between an hour and a half must have been before everything had pretty much settled down and the fire department started coming out. I remember I was talking with my dad. My car was behind the garage at the point. We were just leaning against it, and the dog, I thought it was just they were walking a dog around. It never really connected with me, so I was just playing with it, and I guess that wasn't a good thing to do because it signaled me as a potential arsonist. They were trying to smell out residues for the fire if it was arson or not. At least that's what I was gathering. Once the cop got me alone, he tried to insinuate that it was my fault, that I did it and was scared to talk about it, and that if I came clean, things could get easier. I was getting frustrated because he was like trying to stare me down. I don't know, he just wanted to intimidate me into, if I did it, that I was going to admit to doing it, and I was at work. That was the end of the story. As soon as the house fire did happen, I did go through my head, like, did I leave something on? Did I do anything that could have started it? And I was like, I don't think it had anything to do with me.
It's funny when you think about what you would have done if you were the one that seen the house the way it was. If I was the one that got home first and I was the one that had to call 911, if I was the one that tried to get in the house. I listened to my brother's story, and he said he tried to get in the house and he heard an explosion, and he backed away and he called 911. But in my head, I wonder if it was me. I feel like I would have went to other windows and tried to get in the house, and I might have actually risked my own life to try to put the house fire out. And I guess that's a good reason why I wasn't home during the house fire. The neighbors were asking me things like, what would you lose if you lost anything? And I remember thinking about the book that I wrote when I was 16, and if I lost my computer in the house fire, then there goes that entire time of that whole book.
Loss, absolute loss on a level loss of everything you worked for. Everything, so much, everything, so much time and energy and so much. Actually building this house.
Everybody has to go through something along the lines of this through at least once or twice throughout their life because no one's that lucky.
I was trying to stay strong. There's definitely a lot to see.
And a lot of things got burnt, but the most pertinent stuff didn't get so tainted as unrecognizable.
It's hard to explain when you lose the place where you grew up. Like, my entire life, it was right there. And when it's gone, it was hard to process.